My first actually interaction with wu-nuwaupians is the work that I've done in economic development in Liberia. And Dr. York has done a lot of work in Liberia. He has a school out there, a clinic, a church. It's a Christian church.
Yes, he does.
Some of these things I've never read in the paper. And really they do, they kind of portray a negative aspect, so people might not want to look at the facts of the case, regardless of if he's innocent or guilty. Because one thing I'm not here to do is, talk about whether he's innocent or he's guilty. One thing I definitely feel is that there's been an injustice, and he has not been tried fairly.
No,
he has not been sentenced fairly, even if he is guilty.
Right.
He is not located at the facility, even if he is guilty. He's not located at the facility that he should be located at.
So are the transcripts for the case still
yes,
sealed?
They're still sealed. I've tried to actually get them unsealed. A lot of third-party activists have tried to get them unsealed, and we've gotten the same response. It's because of minors. And I've looked into it myself, and I've actually, had the opportunity to witness some recantments, which wasn't mentioned yesterday yet, from the witnesses, where witnesses actually said it was a conspiracy. And I want to talk about that. I have a question about that. The witnesses said it was a conspiracy with them, other members of the wu-nuwaupian Nation, and the FBI, the government, where they actually got together and set in motion a plan to take him down and imprison him, get him in the court system, and then the court system do whatever he wants. But before I have a comment to make about that,
I want to know, aren't cases of this nature, don't they usually deal with some type of DNA evidence?
Yes, they do. There was DNA evidence taken from him, and they said that as the molestation supposed to have taken place, there was supposed to be diseases like chlamydia and I forgot there was another one. But when he took the test, he had none of those diseases. But the children, they were grown, but they did have those diseases. And those are diseases that you can't get rid of. There will always be.
Herpes is one of them.
Herpes is one of them. But he had no cases of any of those, no symptoms of any of those diseases. So it didn't hold water.
So basically in his blood, all that stuff he tested negative for that.
All that
so
he tested negative for.
How could a case like that even hold water if there's DNA evidence? I mean, I'm thinking about on a grand scale of cases I've seen on different TVs and different shows and courtroom cases where they utilize DNA evidence to either imprison someone or get someone released after years of this. For example, people being in jail, and then DNA evidence proves 20 years down the line, well, he didn't do it. DNA evidence shows he didn't do it. So how is DNA evidence not a precedence in this case if it's one of the main factors?
This is a very high-profile political case. I mean, I won't call names, but they're very high-powered political people right here in Georgia. I mean, we can go back to the 60s and the 50s, even with the Honorable, with Dr. Martin Luther King. He himself was set up by the FBI just for him teaching peace and wanting everybody to come together. They said he's running a cult. So for some strange reason, the powers that be maybe don't want the people to come together so that everybody can have a fair shake, so everybody can sit down in love and respect, because that's what it's about. Here it is the 21st century, and we still talking about things that happened in the 20th and the 19th century. It shouldn't be that way. With all the modern technology, with all the different things that's going on, we still having things like this.
Right. And across the country, you have the kids, I can't remember the town they're from, these 6 kids.
Gino, Louisiana.
Right. And Gina, these 6 kids going through something very similar. So, it's a little bit disturbing that this is happening in this day of time, but something I did want to mention is something I know. A media person. His name is Paul Greenhouse. Okay. He has been doing a documentary on the wu-nuwaupians for years. And when this case happened, he actually tried to get in touch with wu-nuwaupians, and they would not interview him. And he told me, he said, well, they wouldn't interview him. He asked me actually to ask a couple of pieces. I know you have, some connections in there. We asked for some interviews with, key people. And he said the response is always, when he wants to talk to particular people, is they won't talk to him because he's white, and Dr. York was conspired against by white people. Okay, and let me finish here. And, that they're racist, and they basically don't trust him because they don't want a negative light to be put out there. Now, here's my take on it. And please let me get through the whole thing because I have a lot to say about this one. One, I don't think Nuwaupians have to worry about the light getting any worse, any more negative at this point. If they want the word to get out, I don't think it can be any more damage done. 135 years, a maximum security prison, closed transcripts, and things of that nature can't get any worse. Secondly, and which might be the toughest thing to swallow for any Nuwaupians that may have said that, but something I'd like to say, because, well, one thing I know Dr. York has said is no one wins the race in racism.
Right.
I don't believe he's a racist. There's nothing about him, even before he was locked up, in his work as an activist, as a civil activist, that indicates to me that he's a racist. I've been to the land several occasions, white people there, Chinese people there, people from all over, and he was there. So, but, I'd like to say, if you really want assistance, just talking to Nuwaupians, accept the assistance from who's willing to help you.
Right.
And you don't be the racist, because this is a man that's willing to help, and if he does the wrong thing, that's on his soul. But, and the last thing I need to say, from my perspective, white people didn't conspire against Dr. York and put him in jail. Black people did.
I agree with you 100%. And see, that's where the media comes in, because the media is portraying it like that's what happened.
Well, what can our listeners do to help?
Well, right now, you can I give some phone numbers. I don't have them exactly on me.
I'll put them on the website.
Is there a website?
Yeah, we do have a website. It's called Malachi York is Innocent.
.com.
And they can go there for the latest information and different things that's going on right now. And one thing I would like to say, when they speak of a racist, what exactly is a racist? And people take the word for what it doesn't mean, because they say a racist is one who hates another race, not according to what the word means, because a pharmacist doesn't hate pharmaceuticals. Okay, so why does a racist hate other people? A racist must be one that loves his race, just like a pharmacist loves pharmaceuticals.
Right.
These are things that he mentioned. No, we're not racist to the point that we hate other people. You can't, because there's only one, and we come from him.
Right.
Then I don't know where this stuff is coming from, but no, we're not racist. If we were, we wouldn't be here this morning.
Okay. Well, we're about out of time. One thing I'd like our listeners to do is look into the case. Go to the website, MalachiYorkIsInnocent.com, and see what you can do just to get the transcript over. I'd like to see the facts of the case, and look into it. Let's pull our resources together, and we'll see you next week on Run Sam Run.